Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the special interview conducted by the Magazine Committee of Department of Political Science, Shahid Bhagat Singh College, University of Delhi. Today, we are honored to welcome Ambassador Anil Trigunayat, sir, who is Distinguished Fellow at Vivekanand International Foundation, where he leads the West Asia Experts Group and shapes strategic discourse on India's extended neighborhood and regional diplomacy. Formerly a career diplomat in the Indian Foreign Service, he served as India's ambassador to Jordan, Libya, and High Commissioner to Malta with a senior assignment across Asia, Africa, Europe, and Americas. So, topic today is West Asia dynamics and India's extended neighborhood, while we focus on the strategic challenges and policy choices in 2026. So, thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you, Piyush. Thank you.
Yeah, so I would like to begin with the question now. So the first
Mhm.
question we are having that you have often described West Asia as a part of India's extended neighborhood rather than a distant region. So how would we understand this concept strategically in today's context?
Well, if you were to think in terms of distance, most of these countries are between 3 to 4 hours away. If you were to see it in the civilizational or ancient context, India was a trading nation. And the Gulf ports, basically of Oman, and were the key ports for going abroad to Rome and Greek. So we had connectivity from Dilmun civilization, which was in Bahrain and Oman, down to our Indus Valley civilization. So you have a civilizational connect from that time. Secondly, by sheer distance between India and West Asia. And thirdly, it is so important for us because, as I say, that this is our four E's that are extremely important in defining our partnership with them. One is our energy security, 60 to 70% or 80% even, and 90% of the gas comes from there. Then you have the economic engagement, which is billions of dollars have been invested by both sides in each other. Thirdly, we have about 9.5 to 10 million Indians who are there, the diaspora, which is sending about $70 billion a year, which is nearly 10% of our foreign exchange, total foreign exchange. So, in that sense, it is very important. And last E is the ease of navigation. All your maritime connectivity is through this. 80 to 90% of our trade is conducted through these straits. And anything happens in the region, that's why I say it is of critical importance for us. And sometimes our relationship is also existential in that context. So connectivity is important, and that's why we have started this INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor, via Tehran and Bandar Abbas and all, and the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, IMEC. So that gives you an idea exactly why the connectivity is extremely important for countries. Chabahar Port is another one which was important for us to go to Afghanistan and to your Central Asia. Now, if we were to just simply think about it, you can imagine that neighborhood is there, which is also totally disconnected. I mean, they are not our immediate neighborhood, that is South Asia. But West Asia is very, very important for you critically.
Rightly said, sir. So moving on to the next question we have that over the last decade, India has moved from link west to act west. So, sir, in your assessment, what tangible gains has the shift produced for India's foreign policy so far?
Well, number one, I would like to tell you that at least the West Asia policy of Indian government, this government, especially Prime Minister Modi's, has been the stellar success because our relationship moved from a transactional partnership, buyer-seller relationship, to a strategic partnership or a comprehensive strategic partnership, which engages and encompasses your defense collaboration, security collaboration, cybersecurity, space, nuclear, and intelligence. Anything you go talk about has been increasing in the past decade or so. When I was here looking after the region in Delhi as Joint Secretary Gulf and Hajj, I was shocked to see that after Mrs. Gandhi, we have had no visits to the region by any leader from India. And I just talked to you about 2.5, 3 hours away we are from them. And therefore, under Prime Minister Modi, at least, I mean, during my time, I tried to get the Prime Minister to different places, vice presidents and all. But this has been further institutionalized during Prime Minister Modi. He's been to, let's say, UAE 7 times already, and most of the other countries twice as at least. So their leaders have also been coming to India. So the leadership connect with the Arab world is extremely important. And that is why I'm saying it's not just simple visits. It means that you connect with the leaders, and that is how the nature of diplomacy also changes with personalities.
Right. So moving on to the next question we have, that given that the region is central to India's energy security, trade, roots, and diaspora presence, which of these three, energy, connectivity, or people, do you think possess the biggest vulnerability for India in 26? Why?
All of them.
Okay.
If there is a war or a instability in the region, which is likely because Israel and Iran suffer from this famous bad syndrome, and the Americans are stirring the pot. So therefore, I think that there are already it's a very volatile region. There are most of the hotspots, whether it is Libya, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, wherever you look. So there are possibility of these kind of fault lines to get activated at any time. So if that happens, that means your energy security will be disrupted. Number one. Number two, your diaspora is there. What do you do with them? In places like Libya and all, we were able to extract a large number of people. But here, how do you bring out 8, 9 million? You can imagine it's impossible. So that becomes a very major thing for you. You have invested, for example, in UAE alone, we have invested $80 billion. So your investments would go for a six. Their investments in India will get suffer. Your economic growth will be impacted considerably because of all these factors. So the maritime navigation is also going to be impacted by that, as already by Houthis' actions in Yemen. We have seen on Red Sea what is happening. The whole world has gone into a spin because of that. So these are going to impact in an existential way for us, and that's the importance of the whole thing is.
Okay, so as you mentioned earlier about connectivity, right? So with nearly 8 to 9 million Indians living and working in West Asia, how should India strengthen its diplomatic and institutional mechanism to protect its diaspora during sudden conflicts or evacuation, which emerge generally between two diaspora?
Well, if there is an all-out war, we can't. Although we have got our standard protocol, we have protected and brought out all our Indian citizens from various conflict zones, whether it was in Yemen or in Lebanon or Libya or Syria or Iraq. So we have done so. But those are very small numbers. But if the region is conflicted, then it will be extremely difficult to get everybody out. We will try to get as many people as so. India is the only country that was out of its way to bring out its people. And this, we must give credit to the government and the machinery that works on it 24/7, basically for protecting the Indians. In addition, we have institutional mechanisms in the countries. Every country, we have a bilateral agreement in which they're basically all their actions are they're protected in a way. The government or our embassies get involved in a big way, try to give them all kinds of protection that is necessary, assistance that is necessary in the countries wherever we have the labor. And then we also try to provide a lot of, I should say, insurance premiums and all. You know, like government has come up with various schemes so that those people are not exploited. But this applies to the normal course of things. If you have a conflict in that situation, let me just tell you, it's crazy. But when there was the Houthis hit with their drones to Abu Dhabi, it was one of the Indians who died there. We have 4.4 million Indians in UAE. When Israel had a fight with Israel and Hamas, there was an Indian nurse who died there. So, if a blind bombing takes place or carpet bombing starts with missiles and all that, you don't know who you're going to save.
Okay, that was quite surprising. Moving on to the next question we have, that India has carefully mentioned a de-hyphened approach, engaging Israel, Palestine, Iran, and the Gulf simultaneously. So in the current polarized environment, how sustainable is the balancing act, and what pressure do you foresee on India to choose sides?
Well, I don't think we have a balancing act. What we want is dialogue, diplomacy, peace, two-state solution as far as Israel and Palestine are concerned. That is India's consistent stand. We have also been opposing Israel continuing to enhance its settlements, even though Israel is our best friend in the region. I mean, I must say that our relationship with Israel is strategic and very strong. But at the same time, if your friends don't take the right approach, it's your job to tell them that you are not doing right. That's what precisely India does. So we balance in the sense that we do not interfere in their internal affairs. We do not prescribe what they should be. It's their government, their people, they want to do. But we want peace in the region for our own safety as well. And therefore, we continue. We have dehyphenated our foreign policy, which means that our relationship with Iran, or for that matter, Palestine, have nothing to do with our relationship with Israel. So they all stand on their own. So that policy I don't see is coming under any stress. But I must reiterate here that it is extremely important for India to be more proactive in the region, to be able to provide that regional kind of a role that they are seeking from India, the Middle East people. So therefore, it is important that we take upon those responsibilities sometimes to act. We are already a net security provider. We are already fighting for them or for everybody else in the region, with the Houthis, with the pirates. You know, the piracy has been very common there. So India has tried its best to provide the comfort level, and they like India in that sense. Yes.
Okay, so as China is emerging as a rising power, and they has significantly expanded its footprint through mediation efforts and infrastructure investment in the Gulf. So how should India respond diplomatically so that it remains relevant without entering zero-sum competition?
Well, India is relevant on its own because all these countries realize that India is the biggest opportunity for them now. China is a bigger opportunity. They have been going into embedding themselves in a geo-economic sense in a very strong manner. Most of the countries in the region are part of the BRI. But at the same time, they are also not putting their all eggs in one basket. They have moved their policy from totally pro-West centric to Actist policy. So those countries are also following an Actist policy. Actist policy, China, India, Japan, Korea are important players for them. And therefore, and because we are consumers also of their oil. So they're moving towards the consumer. So it's in their own interest to remain interested and invested. India is the second largest importer of oil and consumer. So therefore, they are also equally keen to develop ties with us. India has a big opportunity, trillions of dollars opportunity infrastructure, the better rate of return that they get from anywhere. And that's the reason nobody goes for charity, everybody goes for opportunity.
True, sir. So moving on to the next question. That in contemporary time, connectivity projects like Chhabar Port, INSTC, and the India Middle East Europe corridor are strategically important but face sanction, instability, and logistically delays. So, which of this do you think should be India's top priority in 2026, and what practical steps are needed to operationalize it?
You see, INSTC has been in the offing for about 20 years now. But under the current government, they have also told us that the exemption or waivers on Chabahar will continue only till 26th April 2026. Therefore, we have to take a call on that. In my view, we should not, in any case, under any circumstances, abdicate Chabahar Port. Chabahar Port is extremely important for strategic requirements, our access to Afghanistan, to Iran, to Central Asia. So that's important. So that should be our priority to somehow convince the Americans that it's important that India remains invested in that. I hope the Americans will understand. Secondly, America and Russia are talking themselves together, but they are making India a scapegoat of their competition. Americans are having great time with Putin, Trump, but at the same time, he tells India not to trade with Russia. So that is something that now, as a country, we need to take a call. I mean, are you going to get count down by everybody who comes on the White House? and not look after your own national interest. So I think that is what the government is trying to balance, and because of that, we have seen that Trump has finally agreed to sign this trade deal. Not that I lose any sleep over it, but it's good that it has happened. So personally, I feel that we should be firm. We should look after our own national interests wherever it is. All three are equally important for us. INSTC, we must continue to remain invested in that. A time will come, there are no permanent enemies or friends. United States used to be our worst enemy in the 70s. Today is global comprehensive strategic partner. Pakistan, so like all kinds of things that happen. So we need not just get fixated on something like this. IMEC corridor, India has taken the approach that there are various sectors to it. There is one section which is up to UAE and Saudi Arabia. So there the work is going on already, irrespective. Then the other tranche is Jordan, Israel, and Haifa Airport. We already have Adani present there. So we have invested in that. The Greeks are interested. The Italians are interested in that, providing the ports. So this is an ongoing process. These don't happen overnight or in 1 year. They are 10-year, 10, 20 years projects, and they are important, and we need to continue to remain engaged in those.
Truly said. So the next question we have that maritime choke points such as the Red Sea and Bab el Mandeb directly affect India's trade and energy shipments. So do you see a larger role for India's naval or security diplomacy in safeguarding sea
Yeah.
lines of a communication in West Asia?
Yeah, sea lanes of communications are very important. This is what I said, ease of navigation. And India has deployed its naval ships and assets in the region. I believe that there are 22 ships that are helping the commercial navigation in the region. And so it's very important for us to take charge of the situation. In any case, we are supposed to be the resident power in the Indian Ocean. So we need to be present there and work in close tandem with the regional navies.
Okay, so the last question we have that looking ahead to 2026 and beyond, if you had to outline some of the immediate priorities for India's West Asia policy to secure long-term strategic autonomy, what would they be?
Well, most important thing for India is to try to see to it that the region does not conflagrate into a big war. Because that is what is our red line, biggest red line, and this is going to have an impact on us. So we need to work together. Secondly, our policy, which has of sometimes been called Think West, Link West, and now it has become Act West. I truly say that there is nothing like Think or Link. It is Act West. So either you're acting or you're not acting. So unfortunately, we are acting quite well in the Middle East, and India has very good relations with all lot of countries with strategic partnerships. Whatever is left of it now. So there is something that is important in the region is they don't understand or rather fail to appreciate what does India want in the region. We need to have been very clear because if you want to be engaged, then you need to be engaged bilaterally, sub-regionally, and regionally. We are doing already I2U2 and IMAC and all those things, but at the same time, we should be seen to be doing something also. It's important. So that I have also written about and I have talked. So we can't expect others to do our bit or just look at the wind. We have never cared for the wind. We have made charted our own course, and we should continue to do so.
So very interesting point. And with that, thank you for joining with us today. It
Thank
has
you,
been a
Piyush, and all the
wonderful
very
session.
best.